sorry, I had some food in my mouth. Yeah, I was calling because I had gotten a letter yesterday from the prosecuting attorney's office. Let me grab that real quick. Now, I know in the discovery, I don't know what all they have to give you in the discovery for him on his case, but
Well, they have not provided it yet.
okay. I really wish they would have because that would have probably made this a little
Yeah,
bit
I do
easier.
too.
I'd be asking them why they haven't, because according to the prosecutor's office yesterday when I called regarding the letter, they had nothing, according to the secretary, and I have that on recording, but she said that they don't have any, they don't have my witness statements, they don't have the kids' statements, they don't even have the body camera footage. I don't know if they have to have
Okay.
that to the prosecutor's office within a certain amount of time, but you would think that would
Well,
be a crucial part of them even thinking about filing charges against him. Is the
yes,
evidence,
I agree.
I mean, the witness of the people that were in the household at the time, but the letter I got yesterday was, it was a letter stating that I could be subpoenaed on behalf of the prosecution. And then also down here in the next part of it, it says, of course, this letter was from Christy Richards, which is the victim's advocate, and I was told she only works there part time. But it says that I may be required, my testimony may be required, and that I will have to bring Kyle in. I don't have Kyle. They took Kyle. I did find out while asking, like, what's going on here? Why does this have my name on it saying that I have to bring Kyle? Um, and then I kind of started laughing and I was like, I don't think I'm going to make a very good witness for the prosecution at all. She said, well, what do you mean? And I said, I was here when this alleged incident happened. And I said, you all already have my witness statements. You have the reports. You even have my kids' video, camera reports. And she said, well, let me check. And she looked and she said, we don't have that yet. I'll have to contact the police department for that. This has been like 2 months now. And they're really telling me that the prosecutor's office does not have everything on this case. And we're about ready to go to prelim here in June. I don't know.
Well,
That's why I was wanting to
let
talk
me
to you.
let me say a couple of things here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
First of all, the prosecutor did say that she would send out the discovery to me the following week, and I haven't received it.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to contact her. I'm actually on the road today, but I'm planning to contact her tomorrow and find out why she hasn't provided it, and to please provide what she has.
Yeah.
Now, they are responsible to provide all the discovery to me, including, body cam footage, whatever, whether they think it's relevant or not. And they have the legal obligation to get it from the police department. And I don't have to. They are not. It's not up to my job to go to the police department and say, "Where's the evidence?"
Yeah.
So what I can do is I can file a motion, and that's something else I can talk to her about tomorrow if I can get a hold of her. But if I don't talk to her in person, I'll send her a letter and fax it over there. But I can file a motion with the judge asking the judge to order the prosecutor to provide all discovery, and I can specify what we think is missing. But she has to provide me in the first instance what she's got. So until I see what she gets me, then I don't really know what's not there.
Well, and that's why I was thinking, that was requested on, I think you file on CaseNet. It shows that you filed on 4-8, 418 or 419 for a request for the discovery. and we're in the 5th of May now, and they haven't sent it. They're going slow, but still, you've got less than a month to prepare for that prelim. You still don't have it now, but
Well, let me tell you something. That request for discovery was I filed that, and I routinely file it when I file my entry of appearance.
yeah.
But from a legal point of view, the prosecutor is not legally obligated to provide the defendant a copy of the discovery until after the preliminary hearing.
Okay.
That may seem hard to believe. That is what the law says because they don't have a preliminary hearing is not a trial, and nobody's guilty or innocent after a preliminary hearing.
Yeah.
The judge is just trying to find whether there's probable cause to hold the case for trial. So they don't have to provide me the discoveries, strictly speaking, until 10 days after the arraignment, which occurs after the preliminary hearing, and the arraignment would occur in front of Judge Miller.
Okay.
And then once we appear in front of Judge Miller and we say, hey, we're not guilty of this crime, then the clock starts ticking.
Okay.
But the prosecutor did tell me, because most of the time, prosecutors will give me the discovery, and it's not just me, it's every defense lawyer. They'll give it to them, before the preliminary hearing, just as a courtesy. So she told me she was going to do that, and she has not done it. So I'm going to call her and say, why did you forget it or what? What's going on here?
Well, when I was questioning this letter that I got, also has a victim impact statement in here. It says for me to fill out. And I'm like, I do not understand why your all's office is asking me to fill this out, considering I said I wasn't a victim. I said I was a witness, but not a witness at the same time, because I was in the house and I heard, but I did not see. But at the same time, I know what I heard, and that's not what was going on. And so the secretary said, well, let me look back in these reports. She started speaking on something that said, the first part she said was, on the very first report, it starts out as upon arrival, Christina Kasdorf. That's the woman that has his son, Kyle. That's what they told me yesterday. Now, she and Kyle showed up yesterday, and a police officer saying that Casey needed to fill out a paper giving his consent, what was it? For medical and educational needs. It's just a temporary, like a temporary custody thing. I guess this was coming from the what you call it? Ow, the caseworker on the case. And she had said something about if it's not done by Friday, then Kyle will go to the state. I guess the state's gonna take custody. But all of a sudden, by Friday, that's how much time they give him. They finally come 2 days before, telling him that they need this.
Well, I don't know about that, but typically the child would go into the custody of the state. I'm not sure what's going on exactly there, but you don't have to do anything that they just ask you to do if you don't want to. Now, I understand. I have not given you legal advice because you're not my client. But unless you are given a subpoena, you don't have to appear anywhere.
Well, even if they do subpoena me, I'm not going to appear. No, I mean, not for them.
So if you do get subpoenaed, they'll hand you a piece of paper which will say subpoena on it. And if they do subpoena you, then you have to appear or you'll go to jail. But it sounds to me like if they don't really want you as a witness,
they won't want me.
They don't even know what kind of case they have, is what this tells me.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to let you know, because if the prosecutor doesn't know about the evidence of, my children, supposedly they were on body camera. Now, we were sitting in the police department, and one of the officers said, "Let me call the juvenile officer to check to see how we need to do this regarding, since these are children." And I guess the juvenile officer had told him to, body cam it, and then also have me write their written statements, write down what was going on. So they should have it. And I talked to that was the same officer that did the body cam footage that showed up here yesterday with Kyle and Christina. And I asked him about it, and he said he'll have to go to the police department and check and even see if it even recorded. Those were his words to me. And I told him, I said, it doesn't matter to me what recorded and what didn't record, but I'm going to need copies of my statements and my kids' statements and the copy of that body cam footage. I said, and he said, I'll check. I said, I don't care how much it costs. I'll pay for it, but I need to know when it's ready. And he said, that was Officer Allen, and he said he would let me know. So I don't know what kind of games they're playing, but the prosecution doesn't even know what they're doing. If they don't have all of the evidence there in front of them now, and that's evidence to prove it, evidence to disprove it, then there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, and that's shame on them. And, that just tells me, we can get this case defeated at the earliest possible point in time.
I would hope so, that it can be
Because
done.
I don't think the prosecutor really knows what she's got, and she's just going by this allegation of a strangulation.
Well, and this strange lady, I'm sure, I don't know if I'm sure you probably know all the details because he's your client. He should have disclosed it to you. But he was having a prior sexual relationship with this woman, the woman that has his kids now. When the minute he moved in and he stayed here, he cut all communications with everyone that he was talking to, because then at that point we were together. He was living with me. Next thing you know, cops are coming. His kid's saying he was hurt or whatever, and Kyle goes and lives with this woman that he just quit talking to. That's fishy. There's something up with that.
Yeah, that sounds awfully suspicious to me.
So she wanted
and
him. She wanted
certainly
him,
that would be something we'd go into a trial if we got that far.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all I was wanting to talk with you about, is just to let you know about the letter that I had gotten, and what they had said, because I thought that could be something that would be important to you to know.
Yes, and that's right. That is important. So I made notes while we were talking here, and I appreciate
and
you're letting me know.
I'll keep a copy of that letter. And then also that secretary had said, well, the victim's advocate must have just been confused as she was going through the information. And I'm like, so I'm sorry, but you're telling me that the victim's advocate, the person that works for the prosecution, your office, is confused when she's going through reports on who the victim is and who the victim isn't? And she was like, she kind of stuttered there for a second, like, I'm not sure how to respond. And of course, I was trying to be careful with what I said, but still at the same time, this place, they really don't know what they're doing. They're so unorganized, and that it's a mess that they're even trying to do this to him. So,
well, it just shows what they don't know what they're doing basically, and they don't even know what kind of case they have. So, I mean, really, that's good news for us because it's good for Kyle.
Yeah.
But we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. I do appreciate you letting me know, and I'll be calling him after I talk to the prosecutor if I can reach her tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
So let him know. Let him know you called me, and I'll be talking to him.
All right. If I talk to him, I'll let him know.
All right. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.